Vincent McCory. This is Africa 54. Now, the African continent was home to nearly 20 presidential elections in 2016. Ghana and Benin stood out as the most democratic and peaceful. Meanwhile, the Ugandan election was mired by violence, and Gabon and Gambia had disputed outcomes. In Gabon, former African Union Chairman Jean Ping, an ally turned critic of Gabon's President Ali Bongo, ran for president, hoping to break the ruling party's near 50-year grip on power. Bongo, the son of long-ruling former President Omar Bongo, won a disputed election in 2009 after his father's death. Bongo won his second term, but Ping rejected the election results despite a constitutional court ruling in favor of the incumbent. In Uganda, tensions simmered as President Yoweri Museveni won a February election with 60% of the vote, extending his 30-year rule by another 5-year term. Main opposition leader Kizza Besigye and other candidates rejected the results, alleging widespread rigging and intimidation by security forces.
What has to be done is now they must embark on a political process to ensure an overhaul of an obviously biased and a weak system that is unable to deliver fair and fair elections in this country.
Benin elected popular businessman Patrice Talon after a second round of presidential elections in polls analysts said would reinforce Benin's credentials as a model of democracy in sub-Saharan Africa. Talon faced the country's Prime Minister Lionel Sinso following a highly contested first round. With a former investment banker and businessman as presidential candidates, analysts said issue-based politics had won the day.
It would seem that voters want a change. They seem to prefer businessmen as their presidential candidates. That's the first lesson. The second lesson would be that the arrival of businessmen on the political scene has created a shift, and politicians are no longer seen as the only option.
In neighboring Niger, a presidential run of votes saw the incumbent Mahamadou Issoufou win a second term despite opposition withdrawal. The opposition accused Issoufou of seeking to suppress dissent and of ordering the arrest of opposition supporters ahead of the vote, but the government dismissed the criticisms as politically motivated. Some blamed Issoufou's win on the opposition's decision to withdraw from the polls. In Zambia, President Edgar Lungu narrowly won the August 11th poll, and his opponent Hakainde Hichilema filed court papers to challenge the result, claiming the vote was rigged. Pockets of violence were reported from supporters of both parties. 2016 will also go down as the year Ghana cemented the country's reputation as a standard bearer of democracy in a region that has been blighted by political unrest. Opposition leader Nana Akufo-Addo defeated President John Mahama by 53.8% to 44.4%.
And I thank you, the good people of Ghana, for this massive show of support and the confidence you have reposed in me and my party.
Meanwhile, the Democratic Republic of Congo remains in the throes of a political crisis. President Joseph Kabila, in power since 2001, was required by Constitution to step down when his second elected term ended on December the 19th. The government said logistical and budgetary problems prevented it from holding the vote on time, while his opponents claimed he was deliberately delaying the polls to extend his rule. In Gambia, a shock opposition victory brought hopes that the small West African country can achieve its first peaceful transition of power in more than 50 years. Yahya Jammeh, who took power in a coup in 1994, initially conceded defeat to little-known challenger Adama Barrow, but in a dramatic about-face, he then rejected the voting results just a week after the polls and challenged the outcome at Gambia's Supreme Court. Liberian President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, a Nobel Peace Laureate, has been leading a delegation representing regional bloc ECOWAS that also includes Nigeria's Muhammadu Buhari to find a solution to the current impasse.